everyone. Welcome to Lyric Stage to Go. My name is Courtney O'Connor. I am the Artistic Director of Lyric Stage. And today we're doing a playwriting workshop for the Lyric First Page program. Joining me today is Katherine Shaver. Katherine is our Assistant Box Office Manager, and she is also one of the creative minds behind the Lyric First Page program. Katherine, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do some playwriting.
Excellent. So what we thought we would do today is just take you through an exercise in how to create a character, how to create a monologue from that character, and then how to sort of move that character and that monologue into your play and move it into your final stages. All right, so what we're going to do is Katherine's going to be the writer. I'm going to sort of give her the process. So there will be parts of the video where we might pause or we might jump forward in time because watching someone write is not the most exciting thing. But we hope that you will write along with us or play the video later, stop, start it, pause it as you're writing. But we hope that you find these tips useful. And this is just one way to find a voice and a character into your play. We cannot wait to read the plays that you submit to us. So here we go. All right, Katherine, thank you so much for agreeing to do this today. Here is the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do, and it's probably not what you think. Can you turn to a nice, clean page of paper with nothing on it? You got it?
Yes.
All right. And now I want you to just take your pencil, put the point down on the paper, and start scribbling. Go, scribble. Keep scribbling. Close your eyes. There you go. Pause for a second. Turn the orientation of the paper, maybe turn it 90 degrees. Now scribble again, scribble away. You're doing some hard scribbling, nice. Stop, turn it again. And go back and scribble differently. Think of how you were scribbling and scribble in a different way. And stop, put your pencil down, and you can open your eyes. All right, can you hold up your scribble so we can see what it looks like? Oh, you got a nice one.
A little constellation.
I love it. All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to take another sheet of paper, and I want you to write the numbers 1 through 8.
Like whole paper?
Just in whatever sort of order that you want, just you're going to make a list.
Oh, okay. Oh.
We didn't mention it. Tools that are helpful for writers, pencil, paper, but the most important one is the eraser. Always the most important one.
Because people make mistakes.
It's not mistakes. We just change what we're doing.
That's true.
Or mistakes. They can be mistakes too.
Okay.
All right, got your list? Great.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want you to do is take a look at your scribble.
Okay.
And I want you to find 8 things in it, whatever they are. And it can be as abstract or as concrete as you want. It can be, I see a triangle. It can be, I see a line. It could be, I see my mother, right? Whatever it is that you see, it could be a constellation. Whatever it is that you see in your scribble scrabble, I want you to just make a list of the first 8 things that you see.
This is fun.
It is fun, right?
Yeah.
You find yourself finding really strange and weird things. Sometimes turning the page, like turning it like we did when you were scribbling, turning it to a different direction can help you find new things. Oh, you know what else you can do? Prop up the piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you prop it up, even if you prop it up on the computer, and like stand back by the bookcase and look at it from a distance and see if that shows you anything different.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it helps me okay.
Yeah, sometimes getting that different perspective really makes a difference. If we were in person, I would take your piece of paper and I would just slowly rotate it for you.
To look, oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that you're looking at it as it's rotating and you're going, oh wait, this is great. This is what I want. This is what I see, right? Because that different angle can show you all sorts of different things.
Yeah. Okay, I think I have 8.
Great. All right, so tell us your list of 8 things.
My 8 things are a teardrop, the letter C in cursive, surfboard, a constellation, a spaceship, kind of looked like the Starship Enterprise, but that's because me, a guitar pick, a golf club, and like a tornado, a twister.
Nice. Awesome. All right. Which two of those things intrigue you the most? Like which two excite you the most?
Hmm. I think the spaceship
Okay.
and the guitar pick.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Which one, if you had to pick one of the two, which one do you want to focus on first?
The spaceship.
Okay, great. So let's go to another clean piece of paper. And we are going to write a character profile for your spaceship.
Oh,
Your
okay.
spaceship is your first character. Congratulations.
Ah,
So here's your character profile. I want you to write a list for me down the left side of your page, maybe skip 2 lines after each topic, all right? And the first one is name. Second one is age. Third one is habitat.
ooh, okay.
Fourth is wants. Then fears. And then most important, being.
Being.
Yep, B-E-I-N-G. I can spell. And we're
Okay.
actually going to start with the last one because we already know the answer to that, because the answer to that is going to be the guitar pick.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So now, after you write down guitar pick, we're going to go back up to the top.
Okay.
And what do you think the name is of your starship?
I think
Or your spaceship? Sorry, I said starship.
Geraldine.
Geraldine. Awesome.
Okay.
And how old is Geraldine? Is she a spaceship on her first flight? Has she been in space forever? Is she, on her last, is she retired and decommissioned? What area of her life is Geraldine in?
I think she's young, but maybe she has some, I get the feeling not super young. So maybe she's like 20, 23.
Okay, now is that in human years or is that in spaceship years? Because spaceship
Oh,
years can be really different.
they can. Okay. I feel like spaceship years are much shorter.
Good. Okay.
Because once it's built, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So maybe she's only like 2 years old and
Great.
she's getting ready to go out on her
Great.
first.
Great.
Okay, I'm gonna write 2 years old, spaceship years.
Great.
Okay.
Great. All right. Where does Geraldine call home? Right now, this is like, and I want you to get specific with it. I don't just want us to go, she lives in space, but if she lives in space, where does she live? Is she by the third star to the left of the moon that is up in the upper right corner? Or is she in, Dock C at Cape Canaveral? Like, let's get specific. Where is Geraldine home?
Okay. I think she's still like in a dock. She's still in a like they're putting finishing touches on her. So she's like at the spaceship, not factory, but like yeah, factory. So
Yeah,
she's like
okay.
she's at the factory, but she's in her like final testing. So
Oh, great.
she's maybe in like the west or the like north wing, I'm gonna say.
Great.
The north literally wing, north wing of the, I don't know how to not use like very real.
Whatever you want. It can be real or not real. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna say just like space force ship factory.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Everybody wants something. Everything wants something. What does Geraldine want?
Geraldine wants to she really wants to be like a submarine.
Oh my God, that's fabulous.
She does not want to go to space. She can like, I don't know, this is all coming, but maybe she can like see the ocean from the north wing of the factory. So she's like, that's what I really want. So she
Oh my
really
God, Catherine, I love this. Write that down, write that down.
like has seen the ocean her whole life. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love this.
Okay. Good. Okay.
All right. And just like everybody has something that they want, everyone has something that they're afraid of. Everyone, right? Lots of times people are like, oh, wait, no, the jaguars, yes, the jaguar is afraid of something. And maybe it's just the bigger jaguar down the road. Everybody has a fear. Every creature has a fear. Every entity has a fear. What is Geraldine afraid of?
I think like it feels not space necessarily. I think she's afraid of disappointing maybe her, I don't know, she doesn't really have parents, but like her elders, like
Okay.
they, right? Maybe it's we're in a moment of like big space boom. And so she's afraid of not achieving like all of the spaceships who have come before. So I'll say disappointing her elders.
Great.
Okay.
All right. So we started with that, and I forgot one category, so we're going to add it, which is job, which is what is Geraldine's job?
Right now, she's like a testing spaceship. So her full-time job is like running tests and exercising and like getting up to speed. That's like her
Great.
full-time job.
All
Okay.
right. And now this could be connected to what you put as the want, but it could also be something different. All right. Geraldine has a burning secret inside of her that
Okay.
she has to share. She has to share it with someone. What is her burning secret?
I think
Submarine, it doesn't have to be, right? Like it could be it could be something completely different.
Okay. Her burning secret that she has to share. Yeah, I think it's like tied to the want of to be a submarine, but maybe it's like also yeah, her burning secret is that she feels like a whale and like she thinks she thinks she's a fish. She thinks she's a fish. Okay.
Amazing. All right, write that down.
Okay.
All right, so now you're going to do the same process. And for those of you watching at home, we're going to zip through while Katherine writes this, but she's going to do the same character development process for the guitar pick.
Okay.
All right, so I want you to take a moment and figure out your character profile using the same list of categories for the guitar pick. All right, so welcome back. Katherine has now finished her character description for Sam, and she's going to give us a read of what she has come up with. Let us hear it, Katherine.
So Sam the guitar pick is 40 guitar pick years old. He lives in the east wing of the spaceship factory in the office of Geraldine's chief engineer. He wants to just strum and be useful, pretty easygoing. His fears are becoming too brittle and breaking. His most important being is Geraldine the spaceship. His job is to play guitar, but he's also a psychiatrist. And his burning secret is to be played on a different instrument.
Fabulous. All right, so these are the first two characters that you're going to use to write your play. And you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, either people listening to this at home or in fact you, Katherine, and going, but I don't want to write a play about a starship and a guitar pick. I want to write a play about people. And that's fine if you do. We're introducing you with a way to open up and think about what some different characters might be. But at the end, we'll take a few minutes and we'll talk about how we can transform these into human beings. All right, but let's get started right now on having these two characters meet and write a monologue. Now, a monologue is when one character talks and the other one just listens. In a lot of ways, it's what I'm doing right now while Katherine is listening while I keep yammering on and on and on and on and on, right? So a dialogue is when two people talk back and forth, right, Katherine?
Yes, that is a dialogue.
Exactly. That's an example of a dialogue. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the monologue. And for this monologue, we're going to focus on Geraldine sharing her burning secret with Sam. All right. So I want you to turn to a nice, clean, fresh piece of paper. And at the top of it, I'd like you to write time. What time does this take place? Now, you might be thinking about time as in what year. You might be thinking about time as in what time of day. I don't care how you're thinking of it. I just want you to be specific. I don't want you to say late morning. I want you to say 7:42 and 30 seconds on a Tuesday afternoon in 2021, right? Whatever works for you, whenever you think it is, just be specific in your answer.
Okay.
It could be 3 days before or 10 days until, right? Whatever.
Okay. I want it to be like maybe like 6 or 7 months ago. Like in the past, kind of.
Okay.
So say like June 2020.
Okay. Get a little more specific for me. Was it early June? Was it late June?
Let's say
night?
June 7th, 2020, and it's 6:30 p.m.
Great. Because it's a different energy at night than it is in the morning, right? And especially in a place like the Spaceship Factory, how many people are around? Are the factory machines going? Is it quiet? Is it busy? Is it empty, right? I mean, we need to think about what is the world in which these two people are meeting.
My idea is like everyone has finally gone home for the day and it's quiet.
Okay, great. All right. So now place, we know where the place is in that we know that we're in the spaceship factory, but are we in the East Wing? Are we in the North Wing? Does Geraldine go to Sam? Does Sam come to Geraldine? How do you think how is this working?
I think we're on the engineering floor of the East Wing. So it's before Geraldine has been moved north.
Okay, great.
Engineering floor of East Wing, and Sam has like fallen out of his owner's pocket, and right next to Geraldine. So he's maybe been there for a while. Great. Is that part of this?
Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
All right, and then the last category I want you to write is at rise, and what I want you to think of, this is when the curtain goes up or the screen fades in or whatever sort of technology we use. But when we, the audience, see what's happening for the first moment, what do we see? What is happening when we open up on this scene? Those of you, while Katherine is writing, you might notice I'm playing with something. I find it very helpful to have like a little fidget toy or something to play with when I'm working on something creative. This is a makeup brush that I'm just sitting here literally playing with, but sometimes it helps to just have something else to distract some of your energy. So sometimes grab a toy to play with.
Okay.
All right. So what's our at rise?
So at rise is a dimly lit factory floor with a line of spaceships that are currently being worked on, but not like in the moment being worked on, in different stages, and some blinking lights and a low hum.
Nice. And where are Sam and where is Geraldine? Where is Sam and where is Geraldine?
Oh, Geraldine, the spaceship, she's in the row that we see right on. So she's like center stage. Okay. And Sam, the guitar pick, is just to the right of her.
Great. Perfect.
Let's say Geraldine is center. Sam on floor right of Geraldine.
And so you could start a whole dialogue right there, right? Where you would just start with, you know, who are you? Why are you here? Or, hey, good to see you again. You could start a whole thing. We're going to jump ahead a little bit and we're going to focus on a monologue, right? And so we're going to, for whatever reason, however, Geraldine and Sam have started talking to each other. Do you think this is the first day that Geraldine and Sam have ever spoken to each other, or do they know each other already? Has Sam been there for a while? Did he just get there?
Oh, I think they've met a few times in the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
They
right.
already have like kind of a working knowledge of each other. The engineer drops Sam a lot. He
Okay.
always knows where to pick him up in the morning. So it's okay.
Okay, great. All right. So, what I want you to do now, and we'll probably jump ahead of this because it might not be the most interesting thing to watch, but we're going to just sort of think, how does Geraldine tell her secret? How does she decide to share this secret with Sam, right? And we do this a lot when we have something that we want to tell somebody that's hard, where we're like, oh my God, I know I need to tell you this, but I don't want to. Or do we start talking about something else and then it just sort of like bumbles out?
Mhm.
Right? There's all different ways to share a secret. What way do you think Geraldine shares a secret? How does she share information?
Um, I think I think because of the life she's lived, she's such a, she's being designed and made for one purpose. So I think she's had some doors opened in her conversations with Sam that make her feel like she can finally breach the subject and say, I've been thinking about this for a while based on our last conversations, those kinds of things where she's like
Okay.
qualifying, and then she finally comes out with it.
All right, good. So take a few minutes and start writing that for us. All right. So why don't you go ahead and read us what you have for now? And I might have some questions about it because sometimes it helps when somebody else hears it and they're like, wait, what's making that jumper or something like that. So let's hear what you've got.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I guess I've never gotten to see the world, my options quite like that. I've never felt like I had a choice to be anything other than what Space Force has made me to be. I've never actually seen another spaceship take off, never even seen footage. I've got no idea what I'm meant to do. It's all just stories, almost mythical from the retired vessels. The closest thing to it has been watching the great white whales out these windows. My whole life watching them rise up out of the ocean, suspended in air for a brief and beautiful moment, and then crash back down, disappearing into that great unknown. I've never told anyone this, but, well, I think you're going to get it. I don't know what it means to be a spaceship. I've got no reference for it, but somehow I know I'm meant to be a fish.
I love it. I love
Cool.
it. That's awesome. What do you think Sam says in response to it?
I think I think Sam in response, I'm kind of torn. A part of me wants him to be like, "Oh, what?" And another part of me wants him to be like, "Yeah, like you know who you are." Like,
But here's one of the great things, right? You can write it both ways.
mhm.
You
Okay.
can write each one, right? It's sort of like a choose your own adventure, and you can try it, and then you can see which one you like, because you might write Sam going, yeah, no, I see it, and then it's like, that's it, that's end, we're done.
That's what I was thinking, him being able to be like, "You're talking about what?" It allows her to be like, "Let me explain,"
There you
and
go.
and lets them have a bigger conversation. So,
Exactly. So maybe that launches the dialogue a little bit more, right? You can play with it both ways. Again, that eraser is your best tool. You
yeah.
can write the one, and sometimes it's even great. This is why I love, when I'm doing playwriting, doing it actually in a notebook, like not doing it on a computer screen, because you can just like rip the page out and put it aside. And
Mhm.
it's not gone forever. You know what I mean? On a computer, we just hit like save and we save over what was there before and it's gone. But if you just rip that piece of paper out, it's off to the side. And maybe you'll come back to that idea. Maybe, by the end of it, Sam is just going, oh, yeah, okay, great. Right. Or you'll change your mind, or you might pull one part of it in that makes a lot of sense. So I love the idea of exploring multiple avenues. There's no reason why we just have to go, no, I can only write one. We can totally say, let's try this, see if it works. And if it doesn't, let's start again.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So here's what we're going to do now. And without even knowing it, I think you've written a character that's going to be able to do this really easily. Sometimes you write a character where this can happen super easily. sometimes you write it where it's a little bit more challenging to do this. But either way, I think it can happen. You just have to sometimes nudge it and like push it forward. So we're going to parse through this one together. All right. I want you to go back to your character description that you wrote for Geraldine.
Okay.
All right. And next to where you wrote her name, I want you to put like a big thick line.
Okay.
And now we're going to take this character that you've created and we're going to turn her into a human being.
Okay.
So what is Geraldine's name as a human? It might be the same. It might not be. It doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't have to have the same letter structure. It's whatever you think. But now we have the shape of who this person is going to become. So what do you think her name is?
Maybe her given name is still Geraldine, but Jerry. She has a
Jerry.
nickname. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
And how old is Jerry?
Now Jerry is, I changed earlier, like she's like 17, 18.
17. Okay, great.
17. Okay.
And do you see how, like, yeah, you're equating now the same thing, right? You're taking what you wrote for Geraldine, you're taking what you created, and you're now just shifting it over to who Jerry is as a person, right?
Yeah.
So where does Jerry live?
Oh. I think Jerry lives in maybe a sort of affluent neighborhood, like suburb of Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Suburb of Columbus, Ohio. Okay.
How do you think that that connects to the factory?
Kind of the like affluent suburb idea that she is being built to do something pretty prestigious and
Okay.
like, so maybe, right, to be a spaceship that goes and explores. So, my idea is like her parents are both doctors, or one of them's a doctor and a lawyer. And so it's been like, and Jerry, you're so smart, like you're going to grow up to be one too.
Great,
So,
great, fabulous. All right, so what does Jerry want?
Jerry, I think Jerry wants to like be a musician. She wants
Okay.
to go to music school.
Great.
Or just start, yeah, she wants to go to music school.
Okay. And what's she afraid of?
I actually think it's the same, like disappointing her parents.
Great, perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So her most important being is going to stay Sam, even though Sam is going to change to a human.
Right.
And what do we think is Jerry's job?
Oh.
I mean, like we can get like, it doesn't have to be that Jerry has a part-time job that they do or a full-time job or something, but like, maybe her job is to be a good child or to be with her family or to go to school or to, eat 3 meals a day, like whatever it is, whatever Jerry sees as her job.
Sees as her job. Oh, it's like her own view of what
right, exactly.
her job is. Okay.
Exactly.
Her function. Ooh. I think Jerry sees her job as, I don't know. This suddenly got really hard. I was going to say like filing papers for her parents, but it's like it could be a little bit deeper. So,
well, let's go back to what you wrote for Geraldine. What was Geraldine's job?
Was exercising and running tests. So that she can be ready to launch. So
then maybe what does Jerry think her job is, or what has her job been?
Like being a well-rounded student.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
And then what's Jerry's secret?
Her secret is she doesn't even want to go to college.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
That's how it feels like it's becoming about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, so we're not going to go all the way through Sam at the moment because we haven't fleshed Sam out as much, right? Ideally, we might write a monologue for Sam or write more dialogue between them, and then we might be getting a better idea of who Sam is. So we're not going to right now transfer Sam entirely, but who do you think Sam is in Jerry's life? Like if you had to just do a quick thumbnail sketch of who you think Sam is he a therapist? Is he a friend? Is he a cousin or sibling or aunt or uncle or,
I think he is, I don't, this is a far stretch maybe, but he's like, he owns the music store in town.
great,
And he owns the music store in town
great.
where Jerry goes and like maybe he teaches her sometimes and also he, sells her guitar picks and
Awesome.
strings and stuff.
Awesome. I love it.
Okay.
All right. So what I want you to do now is let's take a look at the first couple of lines of the monologue.
Mhm.
And now we're going to adjust it to be Geraldine's story or Jerry's story. Sorry, from Geraldine's story to Jerry's story.
Okay.
All right. So the first line, give us the first couple lines.
It was, wow, yeah, I guess I've never gotten to see the world or my options quite like that. I've never felt like I had a choice.
All right. So is there anything in changing it from Geraldine to Jerry in those few lines that you think needs to change, or do you think that they can stay the same?
I think that those can stay the same, but the very next line is a choice to be anything other than what Space Force has made me to be. And I
Okay.
think then it becomes a choice to be anything other than what my parents want me to be.
Great. Great. And then what would the next line be?
The next line is, I've never actually seen another spaceship take off. So she might say, I've never actually envisioned myself at law school or medical school. I've never even visited any.
Nice.
I have no idea of how it would feel to be there. It's all, but I've heard both of my parents' stories, but they feel like ancient history, mythical, and from something I'll never experience. But then she says the closest thing to it has been, yeah, I'm just like going through.
Yeah.
The closest thing has been seeing bands come through town and watching them play. My whole life watching them do what they've been meant to do, playing great shows and connecting people. I don't know, I'm just kind of coming to this.
Yeah.
And then moving on, going to another town and connecting with another group of people. I've never told anyone this, but well, I think you're gonna get it. I don't know what it would mean for me to be a lawyer or a doctor. I've got no reference for that, but somehow I know I'm meant to be a musician.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it translates over really easily.
Yeah, really easy.
And again, sometimes they're not that easy. Sometimes you're like, I need to think about this. But I think a lot of times if we just stop and sort of think about it, it's like, oh no, this does make sense because we're starting from that root character. And if you go back to that root character, you will find your way to switch it over.
Yeah.
And then once it switches, that might change the conversation. If Sam really does own the music store, would Sam be so surprised when somebody says, I want to be a musician, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe she's not very good. And Sam's like, oh, like Sam knows how hard it is. Who knows? But now you've got a launch pad for this whole conversation between Sam and Jerry about her future or about his past or about whatever you decide that this conversation is about.
Yeah. And I'm remembering now that I reordered her secret. Oh yeah. I'm just not, now I'm like, oh, I want to sit down and write it. Yeah.
And And you've got a conflict built in there, right? Now we can come up with a conflict between Sam and Jerry. Maybe it's that Sam knows how hard the music industry is and he's doing everything that he can to keep her out of it.
Out of it.
Or maybe that it's that Jerry knows that Sam is selling the record store and she wants to buy it, or, you know, whatever. You can then layer those additional conflicts in. You can layer a problem in, but this at least gives you a starting point with two really fun, vibrant characters that you may not have thought of. I bet if we sat down at the beginning of this session and I said, Katherine, what do you want to write about? You would probably not have said a girl who wants to go to music school.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Right? But it's unlocking something in you. It's unlocking these characters that were inside of you all along, just from scribbling on a piece of paper.
Yeah. And I think I never would have thought either to, oh yeah, starting from the scribbling on the paper, but
Yeah.
also immediately putting someone in relationship to their most important person. And it's maybe not who you think it's going to be. It's not their best friend at school or their mom and dad, but it's somebody who they feel they can tell their secrets to or can help them be
Yeah.
themselves. So that's really
Because
special.
we have so many important people in our lives, right? It might not just be one person. It might be one person that fulfills all of that, or it could just be this one unique person. And sometimes maybe it's a relationship that lasts your whole life. Maybe it's someone that you just meet and you need to tell this secret to
Yeah.
right in that moment.
Yeah. And that's a play worth reading and watching is
Yeah.
those pivotal moments. Yeah.
The one other thing that I'll say is the reason why I had you look for 8 things in the scribble is because maybe, now I don't think this happened with you, but maybe as you're writing, you're going along and you're going, you know what? Sam is not it. Sam is not the right character.
Mhm.
That gives you options that you could go back to and you could say, you know what? Maybe it's a tornado. Maybe it is that tornado after all, right? Or maybe it is that cursive letter C. And what does that mean? Who is that person then for Jerry to talk to?
Mhm.
Right? So that way you've also got backup options if you're writing and all of a sudden you're like, this is not working. I need something else, because that happens. Sometimes you're just writing and you're like, nope, it's not working. I need another option.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, Katherine, I hope you enjoyed this. I've had a blast. And I hope for those of you watching at home, I hope this was helpful. I hope you can find something, any part of this, to help you in your writing for your lyric first page plays. I said it at the beginning, but I'll say it again. We cannot wait to see them all, to hear them all, to read them all, and to work on them. We thank you for participating. We thank you for sharing your creativity and your time and your energy with us. Katherine, anything you want to say?
No, thank you guys so much for joining us. I can't wait to read your plays. I'll be reading them all.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.